Hi there, it's your second favorite DP right here, okay? No, that's Deadpool, you silly little Hufflepuff. Anyways, I'm gonna need you to shut up that pretty little mouth of yours and pay attention because the show's about to start, alright? And, I don't know about you, but I know who's my vote for sexiest ex-soldier turned pop culture show host. Alright, enough foreplay, let's get on with the show.
Every week's an epic feat. They shed light on what's the trend. When will the madness ever end? From movies to the latest shows, you never know how far they'll go. Come aboard and take the ride. Let's uncover what's inside. Warriors of the night, here to fight. Pop culture explosions in the spotlight. Tune in for laughter and some cheers. Legends rising through the years.
Hey, everybody, welcome. It is Tuesday night. Is it Merry San Diego Comic-Con Eve, y'all, because tomorrow kicks off the festivities. I am CQ, It is Tuesday night. It is July the 21st, 2026, and this is episode like 247, I think it is, of Pop Culture Warrior. It's the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. I'm so fucking excited. I do my little Trump dance. All right, but I can't do it alone, ladies and gentlemen. And no, you might think a certain mad co-host is going to be here, but no, we're switching things up tonight. We give you the Angry Elf, ladies and gentlemen. Ah! It says Mad
Hello
Mike.
there.
I forgot to change the name. Ah!
It says
It says Mad Mike.
that's fine. I'm the better version of Mad Mike.
It's fine. It's fine. We'll fix it in post. It's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
exactly.
Hey, wait, we're live, right?
Yeah, we're live.
Hey, everybody. How are y'all doing tonight? How are y'all doing? It is a beautiful Tuesday. Depending where you live in the world or you're on fire, one or the other. Sorry about that. Sorry about it. Where the fuck? There it is. Let's fix that in real time.
I'll fix it. Oh.
There. All
Control, Alt,
fixed.
delete.
All fixed.
Yay!
It's Angry
Hi.
Elf. And now I've taken you off mute so people can actually hear you.
Oh, so I've been talking this whole time and no one can hear me. Oh, well, great. Well, first of all, my first question is, do I sound like RoboCop? Dead
I
or
know,
alive,
right?
You're coming with me.
Is the sound good? I think I fixed it. I think. I don't know, man. Whatever. Hey, El Gato Goat Gator. What up, man? Wayne, what's up? How y'all doing? Anubis in the house. Hey, everybody. 108 degrees? God damn. No echo. There's no echo. We did it.
CQ's gonna die. No.
He died doing what he loved, fixing technical problems. Oh God. I am in a tizzy, ladies and gentlemen, because I have been non-stop preparing for San Diego Comic-Con. It is a massive, massive undertaking. And let's take a look at the tracker. We are currently tracking 54 confirmed events for us. What is a confirmed event? It means anything I don't have to stand in line for because I don't do lines, but press events, panels, signings, photographs, activations, pop-ups, appearances, after parties, all of it and more. Our boy Angry Elf got to take a quick gander at the chart. What? Any thoughts? What are your thoughts when you see it all on paper?
Yeah, you're gonna need a bigger boat. You're gonna need to bring a lot of double time with you. The sponsor
time.
of today's show.
A lot of double time. Stay hydrated. It's California.
Yeah.
California. Hey.
Oh boy.
It is going to be intense. Okay. So I'm taking Nemo and Plague with me, and they've never been. But they've gone to, like New York Comic Con with me. They've gone to Awesome Con and a Philly Expo and all these different things. And I was like, it's not the same. It's not. As a guy who's gotten to New York Comic Con 13 years in a row, like I've always been like, it's okay, it's a little bigger, whatever. It's the same shit. No, it's very, very different in so many ways. But from the sheer grandeur of it, to put it in perspective, across the street from the convention is the the San Diego Padres Major League Baseball Stadium. This is a major league ballpark, and it is dwarfed by the convention center 3-1. Look at Google Maps, pull it up. The convention center is 3 times bigger than a major league baseball stadium. It is insanely huge. And then, which I was curious, so I did the numbers. Square footage, New York Comic Con is 1.6, something like that, million square feet. San Diego Comic Con is 2.6 million square feet. So damn near double the square footage of New York Comic Con. And then on top of that, the thing that blows me away the most is how much the city or the downtown of San Diego transforms into Comic Con. You can't walk anywhere without, like, all the businesses are involved, like all the hotels. So there's the Hard Rock, there's the Hilton, there's the Bayfront, there's the Seaport. They're all taken over. They're all taken over head to toe. Even the like for what is essentially a 4-day event, they do the whole skin of the building. You know, like the ticker or this, like, what, I don't know, vinyl wrap. I don't know what the fuck you call it, but it's all done up. Every building, every sign, the gas lamp quarter, which is a huge iconic part of downtown San Diego. The arch is now a doomsday arch. Nice. Everything, every part of San Diego is transformed for San Diego Comic Con. It is an incredible thing to witness, an incredible thing to see. You guys, if you ever get the chance, go. I tell people all the time, it's worth going to San Diego Comic Con even if you don't have a ticket. Even if you don't have a ticket to get inside the convention center, it is still worth going to San Diego Comic Con because of all the activation, all the events, all the parties, all the things off-site, most of which don't require a San Diego Comic Con pass. You guys are funny. What up, Gutto? So, yes. Oh, and before I forget, stay tuned in the second hour as we're joined by writer, author extraordinaire, award-winning author, Siang Lu. And we're going to talk about his new book, Ghost Cities, which comes out August 25th. I got an early review copy. It is phenomenal. Definitely worth a read. And wait till you hear about this. It will blow your mind. It will blow your mind.
Wait,
but yeah.
Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You can read? Or does Mrs. CQ have to sit there and read to you?
Yeah, my little one, my son, reads it to me. He
Okay.
Yes, he helps me with the big words. He helps me with the big words. I can do a lot of the.
He helps you sound them out.
Cow and dog and the.
Quick question.
Yes.
Segue back to
Mhm.
SDCC. Is it in the gas lamp quarter? Is that where it's at?
So the gas lamp quarter is like across the street from San Diego Comic Con. So like when you see the classic images, right? You're looking at San Diego,
Yeah.
like straight on. The person that took that is probably standing in the gas lamp quarter.
Okay.
So it's like you're like literally you're.
So I just looked up. Yeah. I just looked up, to look at hotels. I'm on my Hilton app because I'm a Hilton snob, right?
Oh yeah, don't look
and
at
I'm
the
looking at Oh no! I mean, I just look. Actually, wait, the Bayfront.
Yeah, don't look at that one. That's
Well, anyways, I was just looking at the gas lamp quarter.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much it is per night for a hotel there? You want to take a guess?
I wouldn't know because I ain't staying there. I ain't got that many Patreon followers.
$1,500 a night.
Yeah,
night, and that is with, and that's with the the government rate. $1,500 a night
with the government rate. Dude, it is insane. To understand though, a lot of times the main hotels that are in like literally within walking distance of San Diego Comic Con is like the Hilton Bayfront, the something Seaport, the Hard Rock, and there's something else. A lot of those end up being rented out by either celebrities, right? The big name talent, so that they're close, or a lot of the production companies. So like your IGNs, your Marvel, your DC, all the
Yeah.
big companies, they just take out like whole floors, for all their production stuff and to have people on site. So yeah, normal people, us normies, there's no way you're staying unless you're
So
fucking loaded. You're not staying there
so you're staying somewhere
in
like
Oregon. Like, it's
you're
a bit of a
staying in
hike.
Oregon.
It's a bit of a hike, but it can't beat the rate. The rate is amazing. Um, so
So are you going to be deducting your Uber rides?
yes, yep. I'm gonna be building up them frequent flyer miles, flying into San Diego every morning. No, yeah, it's gonna be a lot. I got to share one thing just because I'm so fucking excited. I'm so excited, and I hate like talking about things before they happen because then something happens and it doesn't happen, and then I look like I just made the whole thing up. But fuck it, I'm so excited. I mentioned last week that I feel like every 90s kid has one shared dream in common. And you know what that is? You know what that is?
What's that?
To be Nickelodeon slimed. That is every kid in the 90s was like, I would give my left leg to get slimed by Nickelodeon. Ladies and gentlemen, at San Diego Comic-Con 2026, CQ, host of Pop Culture Warrior on WTF Nation Radio, will be slimed by Nickelodeon right there at, I think they're calling it the Funergy Center. I don't know. It's some pop-up that the Nickelodeon's doing, but it is confirmed. We're locked in. It's happening. I'm getting slimed by Nickelodeon. Oh my God.
Who was the host of Double Dare? Was it Mark Summers? Mark Summers.
Mark Summers. That sounds
Will,
right.
will
Yeah.
Mark Summers be there to slime you?
Is he still alive? I feel like I'm gonna have to Google that.
He can't be that old.
I mean, he was an older guy back on Double Dare. He's got to be in his like 70s now, 60s, 70s. 30 years ago, man. Late 60s.
Mark Summers is a young 74 years old.
I told you. Late 60s, early 70s. CQ, yeah, dreams do come true. Yes. But like that's the tip of the iceberg. Think about this. If that's the thing I'm willing to talk about early, imagine the things that I'm not talking about. But it's gonna be someone may or may not be getting trained as the next Green Lantern. I'm just saying there's a Lanterns Academy happening at San Diego, and rumor has it they're looking for a new guy. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you got a problem there, kid.
I don't have enough fingers.
Yes, you're missing the one finger that you're missing. Is the one finger that goes on
left arm.
Right.
Real
question: who's training you? Is it going to be Ryan Reynolds?
I wish. I'd let him do things. I'd let him do more things than train me. The I mean, when we talk about the lantern power, it's all about will, right? It's willpower.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you know anyone that has more willpower than me? That I just will things to happen, and they do. So I'm basically a Green Lantern without a ring. So I make things materialize by sheer will alone.
Well, yeah.
I mean, can you argue? Can you argue that? Can you?
I mean, you have made some things happen. Not a lot, but some things happen.
How dare you? All of this came from here. This was a dream, a wish. I just was like, and then this whole thing happened. All right. All right. This, all of it. Anyway. It's gonna be a blast. I'm so excited. I'm literally over the moon. It's a ton of hard work getting everything ready. But yeah.
You were saying you packed. Did you pack airborne or something that's going to prevent you from getting
The
convention
con
crud?
The con crud.
Yeah, the con crud.
I go to so many conventions a year at this point that I think I've been inoculated from every variant, every strain. Femvet Nation, the CQ lantern, dude. I'll do it. Don't dare me. I will. Yeah. Dude. I was joking. I am a trendsetter. This whole cyclosporian, whatever the fuck, that's going ape shit wild on the world. You know, the bacteria parasite.
Yeah.
I had that months ago. I was one of the first people that caught it. I'm fucking patient zero. Everyone else is just copying me. That's all I'm saying. I'm a trendsetter.
Going to Taco Bell does not count as you getting that.
Dude, when I took that trip to Florida, bro, 3 straight days, bad, like real bad, like almost rushed to the hospital bad.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but all better. Anyway, point being, I can't be killed. Nothing's taking me down.
I mean, yeah, I guess, or because didn't you say you expired twice on the operating table?
Yeah.
So one could say
once on the operating table, once in the ICU. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So one could say the first time you tried to get into heaven and they kicked you out. The second time you tried to get into hell and they kicked you out. So no one wants you. So you're stuck walking this planet for the rest of your
for the rest of time. Yes, it could be.
So
but real
now
quick,
you're a superhero.
I wish. Real quick, we got to talk about this. Oh no, you're in the way. Hang on, I'm gonna move you for a second.
Oh,
they've shown it. We've seen it. Let's bring you back. The Doom. He's coming. The Doominator. They finally, they released the trailer for Avengers Doomsday. Oh boy. It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
We've got old school X-Men. We've got new Avengers. We've got classic Avengers. We've got Steve Rogers is back, and we get Doom. And in what is arguably the coldest moment in Marvel history, you've got Thor coming full charge with Stormbreaker, the weapon, mind you, that went through the Infinity Gauntlet at full power.
Yeah.
And you got Doom just being like, bruh, chill. Hold up. Wait a minute. Like, he just, how disrespectful that, like, you're not even worth enough energy to, like, like, he just I do that to my kid, like, no, and he just hit Thor he hit Stormbreaker with that.
I don't know.
I mean, they want. Elgato said, "Why does Angry Elf look like Luke Skywalker?"
That's because I am.
Because he's aging like a potato. That's why.
Yeah.
She didn't say which version of Luke Skywalker. It's the one from
Yeah.
like the last movie where
Jake
he's
Soywalker.
he's all decrepit. Yeah, but I mean,
Well, I
man,
mean,
magic versus magic. First of all, Stormbreaker is not
it's bad.
magic. It's not magic.
Yeah. And
It's
second of all,
celestial. It was born out of the heart of a dwarf star and imbued with the elven something something something. I don't know.
and Doom uses technology and sorcery.
Yeah, yeah. He is. I mean, for the layman, he is Iron Man, smart with machine,
Mm-hmm.
and Mr. Fantastic level genius,
Mm-hmm.
and Doctor Strange level master of the mystic arts. Like
Mm-hmm.
all into one package.
Because he's in the comics, he's been he's stepped into the roles or equivalent roles of all three. He's been
Yeah.
the Sorcerer Supreme. He
Mhm.
was what version of Iron Man was he? He
It was
was
like the
Irredeemable Iron Man or something
something
like
like
that.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for a while he was he was a version of Iron Man. So yeah, I actually I'll take it. I'll tell you this. I'll take it two steps back. Though I'm interested in Doomsday. I want to see what are they calling it? The redux of Endgame.
Yes, they're bringing back Endgame to theaters to lead up because the Russos have basically gone on record and said, look, not to
Yeah.
discredit the entire phase that we've gone through of Marvel movies, but they've basically said Doomsday is a direct sequel to Endgame. Like it
Mm-hmm.
literally leads into it. So, again, not to discredit everything that's happened in this phase, because there was some good stuff. The incursions in Multiverse of Madness and the TV series I thought were great, WandaVision and Hawkeye and all these.
Yeah.
But they're saying the events of that basically set up this. And obviously, I'm assuming the Avengers playing all willy-nilly with the time stream has caused some irreversible damage to the multiverse. And now we're getting incursions. And now they're
And,
gonna fight.
and what I've heard is it's not just initially it was like put out, it was like gonna be in credit scenes because Endgame originally didn't have any end credits. But now I've heard that there's gonna be scenes sprinkled through the movie, and it's not one of those things where okay, yeah, I could sneak into an Endgame showing at the last like 10 minutes and catch everything. No. So now I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go back and sit through 3 hours of Endgame again.
Worth it. So
Oh, of
sorry
course.
for your loss. Watching the most epic movie ever made in modern cinema.
I wish I could. I wish I could go bop my head and forget it and go see it again.
Yeah.
Especially
Oh,
especially my two favorite scenes, though they're
please.
pretty much back to back, is of course Captain
Captain
America
America
picking up
getting the Thor's hammer. Yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
and then the epic portals opening, and he finally says,
Avengers assemble! Oh God,
"Yeah."
man.
Now, how
Chills.
awesome would that be if there was an additional porter that opened up, and then there's Deadpool sitting there going, "Cap, oh Cap."
He's just riding his little like pony thing, his pony stick. He's just dude, there's so much. There's so much. I am. How does Stormbreaker summon the Bifrost? Why are there runes engraved on it? Inquiring minds want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. It's interesting. So the big theory, with the reveal, obviously that Chris is coming back as Captain America, with with the long locks and the beard. The prevailing theory is he's not good Captain America. That he's
Oh, he's
very
hiding Cap.
much that he's very much bad Captain America, and he is playing for the opposite team. The way that we have a familiar face playing a villain, the big twist would be we have a familiar face playing a villain, and that he's, Captain Hydra or something. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot because you got the Fantastic Four, you got the Black Panther people, you got the Wakandas, you got the Namor's people, the Atlanteans. You have the X-Men, my God, both ones that exist and ones don't exist. You've got, like, it's so much. It's, I don't know. I don't know.
I,
I don't know how you make it make sense.
I just think it's going to be one of those things where you're just going to have to
Wait
take
and
it
see.
in and then let it digest, and you might have to go see it a second time or a third time.
Or
If the
like
rumored,
me, 40.
yeah, or if the rumored opening act or the opening scene is true, that's going to be something that's almost 25 years in the making. Because
I mean, yeah.
originally, I don't know if you know this, but Hugh Jackman was supposed to guest appear or cameo in the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
I
Did you
didn't
know
know
that?
that. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They couldn't find what was it? They couldn't find the Wolverine costume or something like that, so they just cut it. But yeah, it
That's
would be
funny.
cool. It would be
It'd be
cool. We'll
interesting.
see.
It'd be interesting. At this point, it's just like when Endgame first came out, where it was like, at this point, everyone and their mother has been speculated to be in this movie.
Yeah.
If fucking Bugs Bunny and Donald Duck don't appear at some point, and Mickey Mouse comes running across, like, it's a letdown. But you gotta trust the Russos. They have knocked it out of the
Yeah,
park pretty much every time they've come up to bat. So,
yeah. They've
you
done
know, it's
four phenomenal movies, and they got better with
every
each
time.
outing.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Anubis says there's one theory out there. When Tony snapped his finger, it caused a new branch. At this point, they've caused so many branches. Like, I mean, if you watch the Loki series and all, like, the multiverse is a mess right now. And the whole Kang the Conqueror thing, like, it sucks because I think that could have been something really good. I think it could have been really, really, like, take all the outside drama out of it. I think it could have been, I think it could have led to something seriously cool. Uh, a lot of people mocked the way he got taken out by some ants in Quantumania. I'm like, but that's the thing. Like, it's an infinite multiverse. There's hundreds of thousands of him. Doesn't mean that's the most exciting one, you know?
Yeah.
I think it could have been
Did
cool.
you, speaking of Kang, let me
Mhm.
pull it up. There was a thing out there. Hold on. Send it to my buddy. Nope. Oh shit, sorry. There is a offer out there. Okay, Marvel posted a 10,000 reward for whoever writes best reason all those Kangs died.
I saw
Yeah.
that. I don't believe that at all. That's
Oh, I
some
know.
hokey, silly nonsense. It would be great. It would be great if it were true, but because then it means they actually want to make it good.
Right.
I don't believe that at all.
Uh,
In other,
it'd be
but
no, I was gonna say it would be interesting. It'd be fun.
I mean, yeah, I could pitch I've got ideas. I could pitch them. But
Yeah.
no, speaking of the X-Men universe and all that, the big news that a lot of rumors were going around was that Adam Driver, the first news broke, Adam Driver is definitely being cast as Magneto. And we talked about this last week
Hmm.
and it was like, it doesn't track. It doesn't seem, it just doesn't work on a number of levels unless they completely rehaul the character. So then later in the week after our episode, it broke that, oh, no, he hasn't been cast as Magneto. He's actually been cast as Mr. Sinister. Now, I could totally see Adam Driver as Mr. Sinister. I could see it. I could see it. I mean, typically you want a very big, imposing figure, but kind of like a Slender Man version where it's kind of, you know,
It's he's fairly big. He's like in it.
I mean, he's a taller guy, but he's kind of lanky. He's not all that
Yeah,
physically when you see classic Mr. Sinner, it's like the Rock body, like where it's just all bulky and big. He's not a very
yeah, but
svelte guy.
he could get there. I mean, he's a former Marine.
Listen, I think go I think like I think it could work. I really do. I think it could work, and I think you go away from the typical overblown, like make him more menacing, make him more um creepy to look at than just, obnoxiously large,
I mean, he's 6'2".
he's a tall guy, yeah, but he's just very lanky. He's like a beanpole. He's lanky.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
He's a lanky dude. But yeah, so that was the thing. But then even later,
Yeah, I saw
Marvel
that.
officially came out and said, "Look, have we sat down with Adam Driver? Yes, we have. Have we offered him roles? Yes, we have. He always says no." He said, "At this point, it's become a tradition here at Marvel. Every time we have a new project, we pitch it to Adam Driver, and he tells us no." So no, he has not been cast as neither Magneto or Mr. Sinister. So get it out of your heads. It's not happening. At least not for a little while. The other news, and you're a PlayStation guy, so
Yes.
I'm curious. Again, not that it's PlayStation related; it's PlayStation adjacent.
Yeah.
The God of War TV series took a
Mm-hmm.
massive hit when the lead
Yep.
actor, Ryan Hurst, was injured during filming, and apparently bad enough. I think it was like a torn bicep or something like that. It's
Yeah.
bad enough
Torn bicep.
that he's going to be sidelined so long that they felt it was just, instead of pushing back the production, it was better to just completely recast him. Now, part of me, the conspiracy theory brain tingles
Mm-hmm.
once in a while. And remember when they've released the first images of the God of War TV series? Like, they was the first, like, oh, here's our first image of what it's going to look like. People were not happy.
Yeah.
And we're like, the kid's fine, but they're like, he just didn't capture the essence of, Kratos. Like, it just didn't,
Yeah.
it didn't have the gravitas of Kratos. And part of me wonders, like, if this guy was killing it, if the people were raving about how good he looks and how great it is, does the company go, let's put it on hold, let's get him healthy, let's shoot everything we can without him, and
Mm-hmm.
then bring him in once he's healthy, and we delay the production a little bit? But it seems to me it was like, he's injured, and the next day they're
Yep.
like, yep, he's out, we're finding someone else. And it's like, wow, they pulled that trigger real fast.
Mm-hmm.
So then you can take that conspiracy theory a step further and be like, maybe they weren't happy with him, but because he had the contract, they couldn't just get rid of him. And so maybe they came to some type of agreement going, look, your ass, and this is going to bomb.
Yeah.
So to save your career and to save our production, let's say you got hurt, you take your check, you go away, and we'll find someone else. It seems a bit conspiracy theorist, but I can tell you, in Hollywood, it happens. It
Oh, yeah.
happens. when they have to replace someone for a drug addiction and they're like, they're just suffering from exhaustion, a lot, they're just working so hard. They're all fucked up on booze and pills and
Mhm.
all types of things. So could he have been injured? Genuinely? Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But part of me thinks this is all smoke and mirror to just, hey, you suck and the fans don't like you. And we want this to do well. We can't
Yeah.
afford this not to do well. So you tore your arm. Like, we're just letting you
Yeah.
know you've torn your bicep, and it was nice knowing you. Which again, if it's me, I got my payday. I get to save face by being like, oh man, if only, and I go on vacation for a while I recover. I mean, I'll take that. I'll
Yeah.
take it.
I mean, they could church it up too. I mean, it's a paper cut, but they made it out to be like his arm got cut off.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
they tell him to stay out. Hey, here's an extra couple $1,000. Stay out of the public eye for a couple weeks. Whenever you go out, just walk around like this. With your arm.
Yeah. But it's this slinging. It's like the was the old workman's comp, like, you
Yeah.
fake, you gotta fake it till you make it, brother.
Yeah.
Obviously, look, I hope he's fine. I hope he's okay, and I hope he recovers and all this and all that. But I don't know, man. It just feels weird that they were so quick to move on. They were ready to go. Um, you know,
Oh yeah.
you don't
And
make an
Hollywood is
announcement like that until you've got people to call.
and Hollywood is slowly, come around to like remember the whole Sonic thing. Remember when Sonic 1 came out and that first trailer
God,
came out and people just immediately were like, "Oh,
what a
Sonic looks like ass."
fucking nightmare that was. Straight
And
nightmare
what did they
fuel.
and what did they do? They delayed it 6 months and reworked Sonic and
Yeah.
what ended up happening? It went gangbusters.
Yeah, they're on like number 5 and planning another like 2
Yeah.
after this.
Yeah.
It's a whole
I mean,
universe they birthed.
those movies aren't the greatest, but they're at least decent to watch. At
Yeah,
least
they're
they take the kid
entertaining.
to.
Yeah, it's Marsden. It's James Marsden.
Yeah. What was the meme that was running around? They wanted to see Marsden
Him and
with
Rocket.
dressed up as him and Rocky. Dude,
Yeah,
how awesome would that be? That's got to
because
happen.
that's like his thing now, is driving CGI animal characters. He did
Mhm.
it with Sonic, and he did it with the bunny
That
and
movie
Hop.
Hop.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you got to complete the trilogy. We'll call it the Marsden ride along CGI ride along trilogy. Got to complete it. In other news, uh, I hope, it's a rumor, but more than anything, I hope this to be true. Is that Rocksteady is reportedly creating a Batman Beyond video game. And
Yes.
not only that, the thing that I've been screaming from the rooftops for years is they need a game with the Nemesis system. The Nemesis, look, I
Mhm.
am not a Lord of the Rings guy at all. Never liked the books, wasn't a fan of the movies. I just never got around to it. The one thing, the best thing, in my opinion, that ever came out of J.R. Tolkien's fucking brain of that whole fantasy world was Shadow of Mordor and
Mhm.
Shadow of War, the loosely tied in Lord of the Rings games, simply because, I mean, the action was good, the fighting was good, the powers were good,
Yeah.
but the Nemesis system was one
Mhm.
of the most groundbreaking as a person who's been playing games since 8-bit. Like, I've seen it all. I've played it all. But the Nemesis system was truly
Yeah.
amazing. For those that don't know, basically, you're working up the ranks fighting these, like, essentially they're bigger and bigger bosses. Like there's like the the street level boss, and then he's like the mob boss, and then the bigger boss, and then
Hmm.
and you work your way up to like the king, whatever. But these ranks, like you could go straight and fight the top guy. You're gonna get your ass handed to you because all his fucking capos
Yep.
come in and whoop ass. So you strategically work your way up. But every fight that you engage, whether you win or lose that fight and
Hmm.
respawn or kill the guy, the game remembers it. And the game remembers how you killed them. And then, like, I'll never forget, like, I fought one and I chopped his fucking head clean off. And I was like, ah. And then later on, as I'm just exploring the wilderness, he shows up and he's got freaking bolts in his
Hmm.
neck, putting his head back on, and he's like, you won't be so lucky this time. And then, and like, they call back your previous fights, and then their abilities change. So because I cut off his head last time, like he's like wearing like an iron freaking collar, so you can't cut off his head this time. And like so they learn from it. Or if it was a guy that you set on fire and killed, like he's all burnt up now, but he's immune to fire. Like it was so fucking ahead of its time and so cool. You could like possess certain low level grunts and
Yep.
then help them rank up and become overlords that were actually secretly serving you so that you have like an inside guy. Dude, there was so many levels to it. So many levels. It was so damn good. So damn good. And it existed for the first game. And then it existed for the second game. And then they were like, well, this is our proprietary engine technology, and we're not licensing it to nobody. And I think then the studio got bought out by like WB, and then it got
Hmm.
shelved. And then they were working on a Wonder Woman game, of all things, that was going to be
Yep.
built on the Nemesis system. And then that got canceled, and it went back into the ether of just whatever. And
Right.
so, if this is true, I can think of no better game franchise, honestly, than one with Batman at the helm, where utilizing the Nemesis system, like I'm already imagining, like, you have to take out lower level henchmen to find information about where their boss, the Riddler is, or Two Face is, or the Penguin is. And then, like, you could not necessarily brainwash them, but you could like force them to be your inside guy and
Hmm.
and infiltrate and climb up the rank. Like there's so many things you could do. So
Oh
many
yeah.
things you could do. Ah, please
It would
God.
be great.
Please let it be. Please let it be. Um and and honestly, every time, and this goes through the comics, the cartoons, the movies, you have the classic Batman. And then you have
Yeah.
Batman Beyond. You have the future Batman.
Hmm.
That kind of middle time, that gray zone, hasn't really been explored. That transition
Yep.
from the old way of doing things to the new way of doing things, or the futuristic way of doing things. So I think a game could live in that moment so well, right? Like an aging Batman who's having to rely more and more on technology and more on, the suit and the gadgets and all the things. Um, and having to outsmart his opponents rather than just beat the shit out of them, because he's
Yeah.
getting older and he's getting slower. Um, oh man. Why just give me the money? I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll I'll put it together. Give me the license. Give me the money. I'll fucking do it. Like I'm
Well,
not
wait a
doing
minute.
enough shit.
Well, wait a minute. Batman Beyond. He was
Oh,
yes. You had an old Bruce Wayne,
mm-hmm.
but he was the man in the chair. Remember, you had
Yeah,
Terry
Terry
McGinnis
McGinnis. Yeah.
as. I mean, and now give me a game. I'm all for a really good Batman Beyond game, but people have been fan casting a Batman Beyond movie
Mm-hmm.
for decades.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, give me a Michael Keaton in the chair, or well, Val Kilmer's dead, so I don't want George Clooney. Ooh, what about like 10 years from now?
Ben
Because how
Affleck.
old is Christian Bale? Oh, well, Affleck. Now, well, Affleck would be. But I'm just saying, one of these actors that has played Batman, bring him back
Adam
as
West.
Bruce Wayne if he was still
Imagine
alive.
Adam West as the Bruce for fucking Terry
Yeah, hey,
McGinnis.
it could
Well,
work.
well, Terry, use the
Chum,
Batwing.
oh chum.
Reach into your utility belt and grab the bat spray, the shark spray.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
No, but
God.
and then you know, on this whole thread of Batman, did you
Mhm.
how do you feel about DC animation? Are you a DC animation guy?
Honestly, it's one of the biggest strengths I think DC has is their
Oh yeah.
yes, I know Adam West is dead. I know that. Just being silly. Jesus Christ. Can't even crack a joke over here. The freaking Wikipedia police over here. Adam West is dead.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Okay, I want them to bring him back and puppeteer him like freaking Weekend at Bernie's. Well, old
Oh,
chum, go
Weekend
get
at
him.
Bruce's.
Weekend at Bruce's. Weekend in the Batcave. Have Jack Nicholson play old Batman. I don't, I don't like it, Jack Nicholson, but you know who I could see as an
Who's that?
old Batman. I'm going through my list. Hang on. Hang on. I'm going through the list of the Rolodex of players. What about
Yeah.
Jason Statham as an old Bruce Wayne? Right? Action star kind of getting older. I mean, the accent would be pretty rough. But
We can work on that.
I mean, because like you can't do Stallone, you can't do
No.
Schwarzenegger. I'm trying to
No.
think. Steven Seagal as Batman.
No.
uh,
No.
trying to think who would make like
Oh,
maybe a Pierce Brosnan. Like he's kind of getting old, and I
no.
mean
What's his name? Oh, gosh darn it.
Liam Neeson.
Ah, no, because no.
I know who you are,
Josh
Joker.
Brolin. Josh Brolin. Now I know he's played um
Cable and Thanos and a bunch of other people.
yeah,
Now, you know what? Brolin would strike. You know what? He does strike me as he strikes me as like a Frank Miller,
yeah,
like the old Dark Knight Returns Batman. That Brolin
yeah.
I could see as like a Dark Knight Returns or Batman. Christopher Walken.
Oh,
No, Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood as
yes.
an old Batman. I could buy that. I could
Yes.
I could buy that. Like a guy who just refuses to fucking die from sheer force of will. Like I've been through too
And
much. I
and
could see that.
and the fact that he's in his 80s,
Dude, he's older than that. I
right?
think he's in his 90s now.
Is he?
Like John Hamm or Jensen. They're too young. We're talking old
Too young.
man Bruce. We're talking old man Bruce. John Hamm in another 20 years, 15 years. Uh,
How
yeah.
old is Clint Eastwood?
I'm
How
telling you,
old?
he's got to be 90,
He can't do it. He's too old.
92, 93.
96. Like
Holy.
now, granted, he would all be doing is pretty much sitting in a
Yes,
chair and all
sit in
that
the
stuff.
chair and pet the
But
dog.
yeah, it's just I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I don't want
Yeah.
it to be like an Orson Welles situation. He finishes his last role, does like one interview, and before the movie even comes out, he croaks.
Yeah. I mean, what a way to
Um,
go out, though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But no, yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, man. That would be. I'm sorry. Now I'm just fan casting a bunch of people in my head.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be great.
Anyways, back to DC animation as you fan
Yes.
cast.
Yes, the easy animation. Talk about it.
Batman Nightfall Part 1 has an official release date.
Yes. They've been talking about this
It'll
forever.
Yes. So August 25th, it'll be out on digital, and then September 8th, it's supposed to be on disc for home release. So I will tell you this right now. August 25th comes, if they've got the option to rent it, I will. And then when it shows up on disc, I will get that because I'm excited about Nightfall.
Can I be honest? Can I be honest? Can I be frank for a second? Can I be vulnerable?
I mean, yes.
I wasn't always the biggest fan of the whole Nightfall storyline. Like
Really?
I get it. It's pivotal. It was groundbreaking. It was backbreaking, literally. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I never, and I like Batman. Of the DC
Yeah.
characters, I like Batman. Um, I never liked the what was it, the Archangel? It was they called not Archangel,
Oh, you're talking about Azrael,
Azrael. Yes, thank you,
John
Jesus
Paul,
Christ.
Jean Paul Valley.
Yes, Azrael. But what did they call him when he took over the mantle? They called him something. It was like Arch
Well, he was
Knight.
still he was still Batman. They just the fan name for it now is Asbat because yeah, combination of Azrael and Batman. But no, he was still Batman. He was just it was just a different
Yeah,
take on Batman. He
it was.
had that
Yeah,
whole
I don't. He had the art, like the battle armor,
oh
and
that suit is so awesome. I'm
I
sorry.
didn't. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
I I'm this
Wasn't a fan.
between I will tell you that story between that storyline and the death and return of Superman, that brought me over to DC. And it was so 90s because that was peak 90s. Uh, DC was trying to compete with
So
um,
funny.
Marvel, and I think that was right about the time Image came out. So, um, you know, competing with Spawn
Yeah.
and
All the Rob
Wildcats.
Liefeld stuff. And just
Yeah,
Todd McFarlane, Rob
Youngblood.
Liefeld, just the big shoulder pads
Yeah,
and
yeah. Oh
guns
yeah, 100%.
everywhere and armor. Listen,
And
you
ultra
had to
violent.
pick. Yeah, you had to pick the two storylines I'm the least fan of in DC history. The death of
Really?
Superman, and because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like the death of Superman was treated like an event, and I remember
Oh,
it
so
being
do
on
I.
the
Yeah.
news. Like
Yes.
there were people crying at
Mhm.
the death of Superman, and even as a kid, I just remember being like, it's a comic book character. They'll just bring him back in a year
Yeah.
or in a month, in a
Yeah.
week. Like nobody believed. Who truly believed? No, Superman's really dead. He's never coming back. Batman broke his back. That's it. He's done. Like he really never. He can't walk. Like nobody buy this nonsense. All characters come back, but the whole Superboy and Man of Steel and Cyborg guy and all these spin-offs of Peter Weller, I think could do it. Peter Weller as an old Batman. I think he could do it. I think he could do it.
Yes.
I think he could pull
He
it off.
could.
Yeah, that's a good call. Good call. Tom
Oh.
Hanks. Tom Hanks too sweet. He's too nice.
And you know what would be the connective tissue? You
What's that?
mentioned earlier the Dark Knight Returns.
Frank Miller.
And speaking of DC animation, when they did the two-part Dark Knight Returns animated movie, do you know who voiced Batman?
I'm gonna guess Peter Weller.
Peter Weller.
There you go. He's
Yep.
there. He's there.
Yeah.
I would have said fucking Kevin Conroy. I think Kevin Conroy was getting to an age where he could play a live action old Bruce Wayne. I mean, he did it in the Arrowverse crossover
Yes.
in the one
Infinity
episode.
Earths.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where he was like evil Batman. I think he was getting to an age where he would have been perfect. And he already has the voice. He's got the voice, and now
Yeah.
he's just got the acting chops. And but yeah, unfortunately he died. That's a bummer.
At the rate we're going, by the time they make that movie, your original comment, Ben Affleck, he'll be old enough.
Yeah.
You know.
Or you really screw with people, bring in Matt Damon to play old Bruce Wayne.
Oh, Jesus.
How you like them
No.
apples? Hey Terry, you like them apples? Yeah. But anyway, we are getting closer to the top of the hour, and we do have a guest that's going to be joining us any minute now. Mr. Angry Elf. Let me ask you this. Well, before we sign
Yes.
off for the break. Anything you're excited about Comic-Con? Like, is there any announcements you're hoping to see? Surprises? What's kind of got you all hot and bothered for Comic-Con?
I want to see what Hasbro announces, because they've already announced they're going to do some reveals tomorrow, I think, but they've got the license for Zelda action figures. I want to see that. I want to see what they're announcing for the second half of this year, especially with the G.I. Joe classified line.
Yeah.
I'm trying to wind down. I'm trying to get off that plastic crack, and it doesn't work.
They keep
I've
reeling
told
him back in.
I know. I've told myself there are certain figures. If after they release these figures, that's it. You're done.
How many times have you said that? After this one, I'm done. I'm really done.
Yeah. Oh no, I've said I've cut back, but this time it's for real. I'm at the point now where I'm like looking at stuff and I'm like, I passed it up. But then again, I told myself last year, no more turtles, no more Ninja Turtles. And in the last month alone, I bought the Street Punks turtles, and I just bought the Fortnite turtles that they released. Yeah, I got a problem. I like turtles too much.
And I'll tell you, Hasbro, man, they've got their fingers in everything.
Yeah.
I mean, between their collaboration with Wizards of the Coast and the Magic the Gathering stuff, the toy lines, everything. One of the big announcement that Hasbro made was they're teaming up with this artist called I think it's Brian Cook. And his whole, I don't know if you've ever heard of Brian Cook, the artist. His whole gimmick, his whole thing is butts on things.
Oh, yes.
Butts on things. So it'll be like a taco with a butt, a potato with a butt. It's a building with a butt. Like that's the whole thing. And Hasbro just put out this huge announcement. We are so excited. Like they had like the VP of the company put out a press. We're so excited to work with Brian Cook and see what he can do with our incredible IP. And like it's like Mr. Potato Head with a butt. It's gonna be the Monopoly Man with a butt. Like it's like what else is he gonna do with it? But like I mean, God bless him, dude. I no bullshit. I remember seeing him it was like New York Comic Con. This is like 5-6 years ago. And he had this tiny little booth. And I just remember butts on things. And I walked by and I stopped. And then I went back and I'm like, butts on things. And I was like, that's weird. And I'm looking, it was little cute drawings and a Starbucks cup with a butt. And like all these things. And I was like, I can see it. It's adorable. It's like it's not meant to be provocative or anything. It's just cute. And then I just remember every year going back and his booth got a little bigger. A little bigger. And I literally have it just off screen over there. But I have the 2024 New York Comic Con exclusive. It's Lego Spider-Man with a butt.
Nice.
So I should pull it down, but it's up on my wall. So like, good for him, man. I talk about hustle and grind and making it work. He's killing it. But yeah, so yeah, the point being, Hasbro is just they are just slowly, they're like Disney. They're just
Yes.
slowly absorbing into every facet of everything.
Yeah.
And
The only
Mhm.
the only problem that's going on with Hasbro is this move to Boston, because they left Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and they're moving to Boston. And the biggest problem is, and it happened with the GI Joe team. Uh, but what the company told their people is, you can keep your job, but you have to move to Boston, or you can make the commute from Rhode Island to Boston, or you can go find a new job. And what ended up happening? Majority of that development team for the GI Joe line, they left and they went to a rival toy company, Big Boss Studios, and that's another reason why I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm done. You know, because we'll see what happens. But I've got one character left in my mind, and the
Who is
rate
it?
they've been going, Globulus. If you remember,
Globulus.
GI Joe the movie, the
Yes. Yes.
oh god, what's his name? Meredith Burge's character, the guy that had the monocle, and he sat in this kind of like
Wow. That's a
slug
deep
thing.
pull. Shit.
Yes, it's the last figure I really want. Outside of that, I'm I'm pretty much done with GI Joe. I've collected what I want. Uh, as far as the only other stuff, only want to collect, finish off my X Factor team. With Havoc and Polaris.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
and then after that, I'm good with Transformers. I might be done, especially with Uncle Todd losing the DC license. You know, we'll see what happens next.
Yeah. Oh well. All right. Well, we're gonna toss the
Yes.
break. We're still waiting on our guest. I'm gonna shoot a message and just make sure everything's okay. But yeah. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this was Angry Elf. Say goodbye, and or maybe he'll be back.
Bye.
It depends. It depends what happens here on the break. But in case
All
you want
right.
to say a quick bye, and see you next time.
Bye, peoples. Maybe I'll see you again. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll see you another day. Uh, go Red Sox. Hey. Oh, don't give me that.
Boo.
They're on a winning streak, 14 straight.
Ugh.
Tomorrow's a doubleheader. It could, by this time tomorrow, we could be sitting there
Baseball.
freaking baseball.
Ugh. Gross. All right, guys. We'll be back with more right after this. Schutz.
Hey, you there? Yeah, it is right, you. Let me ask you something, alright? Where the hell do you think that you're going? Oh, what do you think because the show's going to commercial that means you get to just walk away? Well, CQ asked me to pass on the little message, alright? And it says, I'll be back.
In the shadows of the city bright, where heroes rise and take the fight, there's a voice that breaks the night. It's CQ with the insight. From the comics to the silver screens, talking legends and those crazy scenes, pop culture trends and hidden themes. CQ reveals what it all means. From the comics to the silver screens, talking legends and those crazy scenes, pop culture trends and hidden themes. CQ reveals what it all means. Pop culture warrior here to ignite, guiding through the tales of light. charts so bright. We're ready for another flight. Pop culture warrior here to ignite. Guiding through the tales of might. We'll seek you leading the charts so bright. We're ready for another flight. Marvel at the twists and turns. Villains playing, heroes learn. Every episode we'll discern lessons from the past to learn. Games we play and books we read. Secrets, wisdom's what we need. Memories that make us bleed. Together we will take the lead. Pop culture warrior here to ignite. Guiding through the tales of light. We'll seek you leading the charts so bright. We're ready for another flight. Pop culture warrior here to ignite. Guiding through the tales of light. We'll seek you leading the charts so bright. We're ready for another flight. Pop culture warrior here to ignite. Guiding through the tales of might. We'll seek you leading the charts so bright. We're ready for another flight. Pop culture warrior here to ignite. Guiding through the tales of might. We'll seek you leading the charts so bright. We're ready for another flight.
Hi there. You're watching Pop Culture Warrior. This is the way.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Pop Culture Warrior. Oh, my goodness, who's excited? I know I am. We have been talking all night about San Diego Comic-Con and kind of all the things leading up to it. And that's really how I kind of found out about my next guest. So, without further ado, tonight's guest is an award-winning author whose work mixes mythology, movies, cultural identity, satire, and some wonderfully strange ideas. His latest novel, Ghost Cities, follows a Chinese-Australian translator who gets fired from the Chinese consulate after everyone discovers that he does not actually speak Mandarin and has been relying on Google Translate. From there, the story expands across ancient empires, abandoned megacities, filmmaking, romance, and the complicated question of where we truly belong. The book endured more than 200 rejections before going on to win Australia's prestigious Miles Franklin Literary Award. And the new US edition, as seen right here, arrives August 25th of this year from Summit Books, and early copies will be available at San Diego Comic-Con. He is also the author of The Whitewash, co-creator of the Beige Index, and the wonderfully dangerous mind behind #SillyBookstagram. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute honor. I'm going to do this right. I swear to God, I'm going to do this right. Please welcome to the show, Siang Lu.
Perfect.
Did
Hey,
I get it?
CQ, thanks so much for having me. Yes, you
Did
got
it?
it perfect.
Oh my God, it's so good, so good. I'm going to go ahead and do one quick thing before we get started because, like I do sometimes, I forgot to make sure your camera was set. So hold for applause 1 second, and we're going to fix this live. I told you, if there's one thing I'm good at, is making problems and fixing them live. So here we go. Come on. Connect. There we go. Holy moly.
Hey.
We got you now. Sorry about that. Welcome to the show. Welcome
Thank
to the
you. Thanks
Insane
for having
Asylum. First off, man, this book, I don't even know really where to begin with it because there's a lot. There's a lot to unpack. First off, the central premise of Ghost Cities, it's almost impossible not to just love off the rip. A translator at the Chinese consulate gets exposed because he does not actually speak Mandarin and has been using Google Translate. Where did the idea come from? Because I feel like I've seen this on the news. Where did it come from?
Yeah, I think I have seen it on the news and on Instagram, on socials as well, where and there's also that question of how much of this is real and how much stage just for the comedic effect. And we love these reels where you've got, I think it all goes all the way back to not even translating, but like sign language translators who get like exposed
Yes.
later on, right? And they're
Yes.
just signing gibberish. And that must have lodged in my brain at some point. Obviously, I think probably will not be a surprise to you to learn that I am in fact monolingual as well. So there's a lot of just that, human energy and awkwardness and embarrassment of, that aunts and uncles sort of drop on you. Do you know the language yet? Can you speak? And you sort of just for fiction dial it up to 11, so that's where it came from.
Interesting. And you know what? I didn't do justice. I got thrown off with the with your camera. One of the first things I do like to ask, because we are pop culture, outside of your profession, outside of what you're here to talk about, what do you typically geek out about? What is your pop culture fixation? If it's TV, it's movies, it's cars, it's music, it's what are you into?
It's definitely movies. I think you probably could have guessed. Excited to talk a little bit about the Beige Index later on. And it's just, I think, probably just coming from a lifelong love of film. And I just watched Oppenheimer just the other day in anticipation of the Odyssey. So I'm getting really sort of hyped up. And yeah, just love films.
Outstanding. Is there a favorite of all time? Which one's near and dear to your heart? I'm just curious.
Probably the one that I watched most recently. I'm a father of two, and my kids are 9 and 11, and they're really cool kids, and I try my hardest to make sure that I'm sort of imparting some, if not wisdom, like at least cultural knowledge. And it sort of all loops back around because when I was growing up, second gen migrant, moved to Australia with my family when I was 4 years old. So I might as well have been born in Australia. Um, I'm Chinese by ethnicity, Malaysian by birth. And no shade on my parents. They're lovely parents, but like a lot of migrant families, didn't spend a lot of time thinking about the cultural education of their children. And so me and my brother sort of had to figure it out on our own. And consequently become sort of really weird people. Well, I can't speak for him, but definitely for me. And what ends up happening is you sort of find yourself on the page, with fiction, but also like in films, and it's a wonderful sort of universe to dive into. All of which is just a really long-winded way of saying that I recently watched with my kids. I'm a little bit embarrassed. I don't know why, but Bowfinger. It is like the
Oh,
Steve Martin
wow.
film with Eddie Murphy. It's so
Yeah.
funny, and like they were just rolling with laugh. They were gasping for air. And this is the bit where Eddie Murphy's like trying to run across the highway, and he's being told that they're all stunt drivers. And yeah, it's just so fun to be able to sit with my kids. And this sort of started because of the Beige Index and the book that I wrote before Go Cities, which is called The Whitewash. And sort of I've got a really bad habit of turning my hobbies into my job, and then ruining the hobby, right? And so for a really long time, because of the Beige Index and because of so many films that I was watching for the Whitewashers research, I kind of just got burnt out on film. And it's actually through my kids and like trying to show them really cool movies. Like, I think probably the correct answer for you, and I realize I'm rambling, but the correct answer for you is Sergio Leone's movies. Fistful of Dollars, like all of them. And I remember showing them to my kids, and they're just minds blown, and also just what's the second film in that trilogy where it's just so. I think there's a certain cultural literacy or film literacy that's maybe missing a little bit in the types of films that are coming out now, and B, um, maybe just the environment that allows films to flourish. By which I mean that films these days tend to be pretty black and white, as opposed to films of the 60s, 70s, 80s, which are just very sort of moralistically gray, to the point where we were watching this film and my kids didn't know whether Lee Van Cleef was a bad guy. And that was really fun to sit down with them and just kind of say, well, what do you think? Like, who do you think he is then? And yeah, just to see them really get gripped. It's kind of the joy of my life to sit down with my kids and show them really cool movies.
That's so. First, I just got to say, because it was such an eloquent answer and talking about your lineage. It wasn't rambling at all. And so when you drop Bowfinger, oh my God, that was so. I'm clipping that and I'm putting it everywhere because it was so good. And I was like, he's gonna say something really, thought provoking. And it's a wonderful life, and Bowfinger. Oh, I love it. I love the movie. It's phenomenal. Thank you for sharing that, because that's all. My kid, he's on Roblox. He won't watch a movie with me. He refuses. I wish I had a kid to share movies with. Back to your book, because it's so fascinating to me. The character's name is, and again, forgive me, I want to pronounce it right. Jiang, is that how you would pronounce it?
Yeah, I think it's slightly different, but you can just sort of default to the same pronunciation, Siang. I will say, tongue in cheek, I have gone on stages and on podcasts and shows and have said, look, pronounce Siang, spell with an X, no relation to me. Obviously, there's a little bit more to it than that. But yeah, it has been fun sort of playing with that expectation with identity.
Yeah, because I was like, my thought was, how much of that is you kind of inviting readers to confuse the author with the character?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's absolutely sort of a door that I'm trying to usher readers through. For I was going to say nefarious purposes. They're not nefarious, but it's just the playful sense of things, right? And it's not anything new. There have been tons of authors who have sort of played with the metafictional device of, is this the author? Is this myself? Stephen King appears in his own books. Jonathan Safran Foer. I mean, they're just like there's a strong lineage of authors. I was gonna swear. Am I allowed to swear on this show?
Absolutely, go for it.
So,
Fucking
yeah,
go
just
for it.
authors fucking around with their image, and I was really really delighted to have gotten an endorsement from Mark Lehner, who sort of made an entire career out of poking fun at the Mark Lehner persona. And so, yeah, it's been really, really fun. Obviously, I can say hand on heart that I myself have never worked as a translator, have never been fired because I've relied on Google Translate. But, there is, unsurprisingly, a lot of similarities between myself and this character.
Right. I mean, I always remember hearing in school and in the craft, like, write what you know about, right? Right. What comes from, like, what you have experience about. That it makes sense. Every character is a part of you in one way or another.
Absolutely.
And you kind of touched on it when you were talking about lineage, and it made me think about like parents wanting their kids to adapt to this new world and maybe holding back, so that they can assimilate better, in that it's the double-edged sword, right? It helps them assimilate, but it also takes away. And then, you describing yourself as monolingual, and language, especially in this book, but it becomes this, it's a source of comedy, but also a source of shame. So I'm curious, like, was writing about that kind of vulnerability uncomfortable for you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. It was. So there's definitely like a sort of a comedic instinct to my works, and that rarely leads me astray. And what I've found, although I have needed nudging and encouragement, is that the more uncomfortable you make it for your characters, the better the better your book will be. Put your characters in peril, essentially. And I'm not sure that there's very much actual physical peril that these characters go through, but there is some version of that. I'm trying to remember back to the initial conception of the book, and that was definitely there. That was there from the beginning. This character sort of gets embarrassed. He gets fired from his job. He becomes a meme. Hashtag bad Chinese.
Hashtag bad
And
Chinese,
I
yeah.
remember feeling like I'd sort of cracked something. But having said that, and it's sort of the author sort of has to be careful that they don't take all the credit for the story. There are so many other people who have an editorial hand in it. And I remember an early reader giving me this really, really crucial feedback, which was, it seems you're trying to protect your characters a little too much. And why don't you lean into the cultural shame a little bit? Because I feel that there's some energy there. And as soon as that person said that to me, that's when the whole book sort of, cracked open for me.
Man, that's amazing. Too many people are like protective of their work and like, no, this is the way it should be. This is the way it's in my head. But I think it's beautiful. A collaborative. I did stand-up comedy for years, and some of my best jokes were jokes where someone goes, yeah, but if you just put this here and tweak that, and man, oh, now it pops, and I love this idea of hashtag bad Chinese. I really do. Like, what interested you about the way that the internet can take a complicated personal failure and kind of turn it into someone's public identity?
Yeah, I mean, that's the absolute inversion of intentions. And I've discovered that as well, in a very complex way. The Miles Franklin in Australia is widely considered to be the most prestigious literary prize. And it's you sort of get caught in these paradoxical loops. Like, you want to write a book and you want the book to do well, but you don't necessarily think that for the book to do well, you sort of have to be considered a public person. And so as an introverted artist, you're sort of stuck in your room happily, I might add, happily, and working on this little bullshit masterpiece or whatever it is, right? And not really thinking about the idea that if the book takes off, in any sense of that word, that you will be required to go on stages and on shows, and talk to lovely people about your process and all of that stuff. And that's something that I've come to embrace, but it has been its own journey. It's really fucking weird. It's really weird because you end up having to perform yourself, right?
Yeah.
And that's the nature of the very, very, very niche fame that I've sort of encountered, to the point where it doesn't impact my life daily, which is great. I'm a very private person. But the moment you step into certain rooms, you sort of become the famous person, and then that's troublesome and tricky. And so it's almost as though I wrote myself through the fiction. I wrote myself into being, and I guess I deserve it. Like it's something that I think about constantly. My kids, to my enduring shame and regret, Google me, and they kind of, they're proud of me, they're happy. I do not Google myself, and they're Googling me because they're trying to find themselves, right? They've been with me to events, they've had their photos taken, and they're trying to work out, like, does the internet know about me? And they keep getting disappointed that they're not. And I keep having to sit them down and tell them, it's not really, and when I was their age, I probably would have thought the same thing. You sort of retreat into your shell in adulthood, maybe. But I sort of remember trying to tell them that it is a double-edged sword. It's not all roses. There are really great things about it, and being on tour constantly and being able to take the family with me to various cool places, that's been really fun. But there is a lot of grappling. I have just been working on this speech because this year's Miles Franklin winner is about to be announced, and so the old news and the old winner has to show up and sort of give the trophy
Hand
back.
off the torch.
Yes, exactly, right. It's like Miss Australia or Miss Universe. And yeah, the speech was about the complex nature of whatever it is this public life is. And so I constantly confound myself by how I've gotten myself into this. But yeah, it's been fun, and I embrace it as well.
Well, we don't think you're hashtag bad Chinese, so don't worry about that. It's such a fascinating thing. I've never really sat and thought about it, but it makes sense that art, when we typically think of, maybe pop culture and things, actors and directors, it's a very big production, it's things. But outside of that, most art is so solitary, whether it's
Yeah.
writing or art or even when you're creating music. I mean, typically you're alone when you're creating it versus when you're playing it. But I never really put two and two together, that it's such a lonely, but maybe not lonely is not the word. It's such an isolated kind of,
Solitary.
yeah, it's a solitary thing. And you really have to explore who you are and what you're trying to say and all these different things. So that's an incredible point. Thank you for sharing that. And you talked about traveling and getting to take your family to these places. And if the internet is believed, which I've very frequently found it's not, I was reading that you and your wife had visited an abandoned theme park outside of Beijing, and that experience helped plant the seeds for this novel. So if that's true, because internet, what fascinated you about that place, and what did it feel like maybe standing in that place that has been built for crowds that's now empty?
Yeah, that is indeed true. So you can believe some things on the internet. um, yeah, it came at a really pivotal time when I was working on. I had begun what the book would be, but it was really just scratchings on a notepad. It was really nothing more than that. And there was already a developing obsession with ghost cities. That's sort of the genesis, my curiosity about this. And like a lot of people, came to it through just the media, seeing photo essays of these really desolate cities with, uh, you know, you just, it's so strange to look at these highways and these malls, and they look new, and they are new, but they almost seem like ruins. And so I became really obsessed with it. My wife's from China, and so we on a trip to China to see her parents, visit her parents. We'd actually gone, and I was quite determined to get out to an actual ghost city, but unfortunately, our itinerary didn't really manage the distances we would have to travel. And so I'd found online that there was this abandoned theme park just on the outskirts of Beijing. And it was a bit of a trek to get to. This was in the days before Uber, or the Chinese equivalent of that, Didi, I think. And so we'd had to flag down a cab driver to take us to that location. And this cab driver was driving us, and she was really confused because it was obvious we were tourists. And she was like, "There's nothing out here. Like, why do you want to go out here? You already well know that I'm monolingual." So my wife had to speak for me and sort of describe where we were trying to go and why we were trying to see it. And this cab driver was just completely like flummoxed, like, "Why the hell would you go out here?" And so we were driving, we got there, and it was a far enough drive that we had to pay the cab driver to stay there. Otherwise, we would have had trouble getting back. And we got out, and sort of imagine like a smaller Disneyland. The kinds of architecture that they had was sort of these fairy tale castles and things like that. And I just took my camera with me, and we wandered these ruins. And the funny thing was that we, in the distance, once in a while, would see other people wandering these ruins, and they were all Westerners. I consider myself a Westerner as well, and so it was this thing of like, the locals don't know or don't care, and we only have the one cab driver to as my data set. She didn't know, and funnily enough, to pass the time, she ended up wandering the ruins as well, and she was kind of taken with the whole thing. First, the fact that it existed, but second, that she hadn't known about it, and that it took a foreigner to tell her, to inform her that something like this existed. And it was just such an eerie, desolate place that was just full of inspiration that ended up going into the book. For example, and this is not a big part of the book, but later on, and I think to properly set this up, I have to explain that first explain ghost cities, but also explain the type of modern conundrum that ghost cities then usher in. So if I forget, please sort of prompt me.
I got you.
First of all, ghost cities are these empty, desolate cities, but built with an idea that people will eventually move in. And I think it's really important to note that, with a country of billions of people, the town planning actually has to look a little bit different. So I'm not casting aspersions, I'm not jesting, I'm not making fun or poking fun. It's just a really interesting, primarily Chinese cultural phenomenon. And it is a world phenomenon. You see ghost cities everywhere, but I think they've become more associated with Chinese culture. And I think because of the large populations, they have to think about town planning in a different way. And sometimes these, I do go to great lengths to mention that these so-called ghost cities do sometimes get populated. Not a lot of people really, at least in, when I've gone on tour and talked about these things on stages, have recognized that, Shanghai's Pudong district, where their airport is, it's like a bustling business district, actually started out as a ghost city. And it's part of the whole real actual city now. So that's important to sort of communicate and remember. And that these cities are fully functional. Like people are supposed to live there. The electricity works, the traffic lights work. There's all sorts of infrastructure, highways, roads, bridges, everything. You're supposed to live there, but for whatever reasons, people don't. And so that's the basic concept of ghost cities. But this thing that I found really fascinating about ghost cities was that, by and large, if you sort of imagine the process of how they come to be, it's the government kind of reclaiming the land, like buying the land back from the landowners and then going, we're going to make a massive urban development here, right? And so where the land is very, very often, I mean, almost always, probably entirely always, farms, just rural areas. And so what ends up happening is this really interesting thing where the first citizens of the ghost city, the first people who live there, who work there as well, and are supposed to be are employed as store owners and grocery store owners and ticket booth operators and all sorts of things, they are former farmers being shunted into modernity, right? Like, it usually takes a few generations, but in this case, it's like a dude who 5 years ago was like hoeing the land, and now he's like running a shop. And that's got to do something really, really strange to just your conception of what life is in the first place. And so that's all the setup. And this tiny little detail from that is in the book that was from real life was, as we were wandering this sort of desolate theme park, we did not actually see any of the people who were supposed to have been employed, to run that theme park. It was long gone. But as you sort of come up from the road, like from the roadside, you won't see anything untoward. But the moment you step in and walk around the back, you'll see behind the buildings that they are still farming. Like they were growing crops, vegetables, and I was just so taken with that, because it was like, of course you'd go back to what you know, right? And so that little detail found its way into the book, as well as many other things.
Oh man, that is wow. That I love it. The old from dust we come and to dust we will go. Like this kind of
That's
like
it.
full
Yeah.
circle thing. That's incredible. There's so many things I want to ask. Sorry, my head's spinning. Both Ghost Cities and The Whitewash deal with filmmaking and the stories that cultures tell about themselves. What is it about the movie business, we touched on it a little bit, that makes it such a useful target for satire?
Yeah. I think I think any industry is worth skewering, definitely the film industry, but any group who take themselves too seriously, and that's authors included, we're not, I don't escape my own sort of fucked up satirical gaze. But I think it actually came from the intention to poke fun actually came from anger, believe it or not. And this is a very new thought to me. And it was only probably in the last year or so. I was at a literary festival, and the person who was interviewing me kicked off discussions by asking me about the thread of anger that runs through my works. And I was so taken aback, because it hadn't occurred to me that I was angry. And I opened my mouth to object, but nothing came out. And I took a moment, which was a bit awkward because hundreds of people were kind of looking at me and waiting for me to say something eloquent or whatever. And I just took probably about a half minute to think it through. And I realized that this person was correct, that I am angry. And part of that anger was sublimated It was something that was bubbling beneath the conscious mind, right? When I think back to the impulse to write a book called The Whitewash, which very quickly is about the Asian, like Hollywood film industry. So the pitch line for The Whitewash is that it's about a China Hollywood co-production that is aiming for the very first time in Hollywood history to create like a blockbuster spy film a la James Bond or Mission Impossible, but for the first time starring an Asian male lead. And that has actually ended up happening in the Marvel universe with Shang-Chi and in fact many other films since. But it's still new and it's still fresh, and that's part of the anger, which I'll get to. And starring this fictional character, JK Jr., who I've described as not the smartest tool in the shed, but definitely the hottest. And so he's just this, himbo who gets whitewashed out of the role. He gets replaced by his white stunt double, and it's a farce. It's a comedy, and really importantly, it isn't self-pitying. It's not as though this poor guy, he's lost his opportunity. He's a dumbass. He's sort of got it all up in his head that he's this martial arts god, because in pre-production he's getting ripped and he's doing all of these action moves, and he's not realizing, because he's a dummy, that no one's allowed to hurt him. And so he's just feeling like, I'm fucking awesome, right? And so his stunt double is a mixed martial arts fighter, and he decides to get into the ring in the octagon, and he gets destroyed, and that's a whitewash, right? And so there's this idea of, yes, this happens, but we don't need to feel sorry for ourselves. But why does it happen? And I had thought for a very long time that whitewashing as a concept was this historical, sort of ancient, almost ancient, but this thing that was in the past. You think of Fu Manchu, played by 11 white men, white actors. Not a single Asian actor has played Fu Manchu. And then, moving on to Charlie Chan, which was a better depiction of an Asian, but not by very much, right? And like, he's a good guy, but sort of, you think back to, you think about the enduring stereotype of Asians as nerdy, geeky, unathletic, with no sex appeal whatsoever. And you can sort of almost trace it back to Charlie Chan. And so thinking about all of this, thinking about how damaging stereotypes are, and also how profoundly impactful and influential the cinematic medium has been. It's this really interesting thing of just recognizing that a lot of damage has been done. And I guess that was sort of bubbling in my head subconsciously, and I really wanted to skewer everything about it. The idea that these money-making industries should be motivated to make more money is really funny, because the growing trend of recent years, and we'll see whether it continues or not, is that in fact Asians on screen do make money. And so it's funny to see that turnaround, that quick pivot. And it's also really important to recognize that it's not, in a lot of cases, it's not overt racism. It's just people following the money and where they think the money is.
Man, that's so true. It's so true. And kind of to touch on that too, you also co-created the Beige Index, which looks at racial representation in some of the most celebrated movies ever made. What surprised you most when you actually put numbers behind something that, people only really think about it like as an impression, right? As like a thought experiment. But when you actually sat down with the numbers, what surprised you most?
I'll tell you something dumb, and then I'll tell you the real thing. So the Beige Index is this website that I co-created with my creative partner, Jonathan O'Brien. And it was really fun, but a crazy, crazy endeavor. And what it is it's the Bechdel test, but for race. We say that a little bit tongue in cheek. It's not quite the same thing, but we looked at the top 250 films as voted by popular vote on IMDb. And then we just generated this giant, giant spreadsheet of all of those films and all of the credited cast on those films. And you can go and look, like, your audience can go and look at it on thebeigeindex.com or just look up the Beige Index. And we, through as close to academic research and with rigor as possible, we tried to determine through actual interviews with credited actors, biographical information, Wikipedia, IMDb, and all sorts of other things, the ethnicity of each of these credited actors. There's a database of 10,000 or more than 10,000 now. And all with the stupid idea of making it so that you could have a look at a very quick visual representation of each film and figure out what percentage of the cast actually was like diverse, and using that percentage I'm not sure if this is a thing in the States, but in Australia we've got this thing called the bushfire index, where like day to day there's this thing that like a dial that tells you how likely you are to have bushfires. And so we wanted there to be a dial for the Beige Index as to how beige a film was, right? And it's all really, really dumb, and sort of written in the same spirit, the same dumb spirit as, say, Ghost Cities and The Whitewash, which is to say very, very silly, but also a little bit serious. And one of the most surprising things that I found in my research was that there are at least 6 Hispanic Ewoks.
Ewoks from Star Wars.
Yeah.
And they're
so these were the stuntmen inside the costumes. And with as much research as possible, we found that there are at least 6. And so that was really, really funny just to think about, you're a fuzzy little alien, but you're also Hispanic. And so that's been really fun. I guess probably not necessarily a surprise, but one thing that the data showed us was that the most diverse, I'm probably not using the word correctly, and I'll unpack that in a little bit, but the most diverse film of the 20th century was, I should have prepared before I came on. It's fallen out of my mind. It's that David Fincher's the director, and it's the serial killer movie with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman.
Yes, Seven.
Seven, yes. And that's the most diverse film of the 20th century. And if you think about it more, and this is where it sort of becomes both bigger and smaller and harder to define and more, I don't know, like more philosophical, is why is this film more beige? And it's obvious that it's more beige because it's set in Chicago. And so a lot of the actors are Black. And so it's just being real and being realistic to the casting and the actual geography. And so that makes you think a little bit about, if we're trying to tongue-in-cheek, point towards racism in film or diversity in film, there's all these other factors that almost have nothing to do with it that influence so much, right? If there were more films set in modern day Chicago, then films would be beiger, but there aren't necessarily. And so it sort of makes you think about what sort of stories get centered, what sort of stories get funded, and also weirdly what the thing boils down to is like what the white gaze is and what the white lens is. And I don't just mean that in terms of audiences, but also the types of films that end up getting voted into the top 250 if you look at other cultures, like there's a lot of Korean films in there and there's a lot of Japanese films, but are they necessarily the films that Korean audiences would have voted as the top 250? Or are they just the ones that white audiences know? And there are a ton of Indian films. There's like a huge, I don't want to say over-representation, but there's a huge representation of Indian films, Bollywood films in the top 250. And you've got to wonder, why is that? My theory is because there's primarily English-speaking language, like Hindi's their official language, but so many Indian populations are fluent in English. IMDb is used as by a large population of native film watchers, and they use that tool in ways that perhaps Korean film watchers and Japanese film watchers and Chinese film watchers don't necessarily do the same. And so it's just really interesting to think about audiences in that way, right? It just continues to sort of baffle me and throw up all these philosophical ideas.
Yeah, and it's incredible, man. As you've been talking, I'm looking at the website, and I see the meter and things, and I'm looking at it in the shelf view. So that goes from 1921 all the way to
Yes.
2022, a little bit past that. And obviously, clearly, I can see it getting a little beigeur over
Yes,
time.
that's exactly it. Yeah.
A little more color. Did it surprise you when you're first seeing it or first coming across this that it wasn't more, or was it that it changed at all? Like when you're looking at it, because like seeing this visual representation, it's very like, man, like it makes you stop and think. It makes you really think. And
Yeah.
I was born and raised in New York City, the cultural melting pot of the world. Race has never been something that like crossed my mind because I grew up around every race. So when I see this and I go, oh wow, like there isn't, especially in the top 250 movies of all time, obviously, but there isn't that much representation. There isn't that much color involved. So
Yeah. That's a brilliant question. I think if I am being fully honest, I was not surprised by the conclusion that the data presented us. And that's actually, it sums up the whole reason why we built it, was hopefully we would be able to have a reaction like yours, where you'd go on the website and in an instant be able to see what was up, right? And that's the beauty of big data and sort of being able to figure out what the right visualization is. We thought long and hard about that shelf view. It's almost like DVDs, right?
yeah.
And this idea of how powerful it would be if you could see it. And obviously it works on mobile phones. So there's a great view on mobile phones. But for us, the perfect view is on desktop or iPad, where you can see that shelf view. From start to finish, right? Because we think of film as like it's still a young medium. It's only just over 100 years old. But it is profoundly impactful to be able to see that representation, even if it's flawed, because our data set is flawed and it's a joke also. But no, I wasn't surprised. I think it helped reaffirm what I always knew, and it helped show it in the data, which was things are getting better, and probably definitely there is a lot more to go. I think that it's heartening to look at these films from start to finish and see the color band change. And I think that part of the equation is not just in casting more diverse people on in films. I actually think that's the wrong idea. But to qualify that, I mean, casting people in films for their diversity is without anything else behind that, probably, an ill thought out idea. But I think the thing that sort of brings it all together is if there were another Beige index, of which the data is not actually readily available, to show us that the change in nature and the makeup in aggregate, right, of people who work behind the scenes, behind the camera, you will probably see more diverse names and faces over time. And so it's really important, not just in front of the camera, but also behind the camera at all stages of the industry and all facets of the industry. And that's what I'm seeing as well in publishing as well. Is that we are very much in, you know, an era of own voices in publishing, which is powerful. And you know, it's been probably, I'm going to get my numbers wrong, but probably 10 or maybe more years of own voices. And it's really allowed a lot of voices to flourish and diverse voices to flourish. And I've got to think that part of that is the fact that there are more diverse people in publishing who are actually acquiring books.
Now, the time has flew by. I have so many more questions I want to ask you, but I also want to be respectful of your time, because this is such a fascinating topic, between the book and the page. And so, let me ask you just a few more quick questions before I let you go, because I got to pick your brain, man. I love your big sexy brain. You know, I touched on a little bit at the intro, and there's so much I really wanted to unpack about, you know, the book was rejected 200 times and this whole kind of history and how it eventually got out. You know, then the book that nobody seemed to want wins the Miles Franklin Literary Award. You know, there's just so much there. Now, this successful book is headed into translation across 25 different territories. Is there something weirdly surreal about a book involving a mistranslation that's now being translated all over the world? Is there any concern there for you?
I don't think it's concern. I think it is just gleeful enjoyment that the dumb shit that I come up with is going to get an audience that may or may not appreciate it. Who knows? But it's been an interesting and wild ride. You know, we probably could have talked for an hour about the nature of failure and how I think probably the thing that has kept me sane was embracing it, and just understanding that. Not to get too deep, but when you sort of sit down and write the thing, you write your heart, right? And it ends up not being acquired, and sort of all of the industry feedback sort of indicates that you should probably give up, and you'll quickly find out about yourself. You might not like the things that you find out, but you will quickly find out. And the things that I found out about myself were very, very useful, which was, and I honestly don't wish this on anyone, but I will say that when you have to confront the idea of, might my work never find an audience? This is a very real possibility that we're staring into the barrel of. Why am I doing this? Is it for them? And so the thing that gave me strength to write The Whitewash, which actually came out first but was written second, as almost as a response to these 200 failures. It was in absolute recognition that writing for myself was enough, and that I would keep doing it. And that's a really difficult question to confront. Am I going to keep doing this if there is actually nothing else at the end of this road? And, you know, the modest success of The Whitewash was really what allowed Ghost Cities to get published. Because what I came to find later on in publishing is that essentially it's a risk-averse industry, much like filmmaking. And what they're trading on is known quantities. And so if you get your foot in the door as a known quantity with a book, it doesn't then, the conversation changes from previously, your book's fucking weird and we're not going to publish it, to what have you got next? And that becomes a much smaller hump to overcome in terms of weirdness, in terms of market fit, in terms of we don't really see that there is monetary value in this, or we think it's maybe a risk. You've mitigated the risk by becoming a published author in the first place, right? And so it's almost the Trojan horse. It's that thing of, yes, it's not just blind stubbornness, although that is really useful. It's also just recognizing that when you stick it out and just believe in yourself, then you will bring more opportunities to yourself. And yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy ride. So the more, the more corners of the world that this mistranslated work gets into, the better. I've since become really good friends with Bora Chung, who was shortlisted for the International Booker Award for her brilliant book Cursed Bunny, and she's actually translating Ghost Cities to Korean. And yeah, it's just a totally crazy fun ride. I mean, she will often message me and will joke about her sort of doing the translation through Google Translate and things like that. So yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. And we're gonna wrap it up with this. For somebody who is discovering your work through, let's say, San Diego Comic-Con, rather than something like a literal festival, what do you think will connect with them almost, immediately?
I think that in the first place, it's just really exciting to be there. And there's that imposter syndrome that's like, do I really belong there? I'm not sure. But sort of setting that aside, I think that San Diego Comic Con audiences are really diverse as well. And so hopefully there's this idea of, just looking at this hashtag bad Chinese thing. I forgot to mention to you, but it's probably a good way to cap things off, is that at events that I've done all over Australia, talking about hashtag bad Chinese, I've had so many people come up to me in signing lines afterwards and say, I am hashtag bad Chinese. And it's almost like my I am Spartacus moment. And the funny thing is, the thing that like warms my heart is that these people are not all Chinese. They're Indian, they're Pakistani, they're Spanish, they're Greek, they're Italian. It has almost been, this idea that you are made to feel lesser than because you through whatever circumstances you have not connected with the multiple cultures that you do have. That doesn't make you any less of a member of that culture, and it doesn't make you any less of an ambassador, like a proud ambassador for that culture. You might be a flawed ambassador, but you can be a really proud ambassador of your culture.
Outstanding. Yeah. For someone who's born very pale skin, I am actually full-blooded Puerto Rican. I am hashtag bad Chinese because I do not represent the Puerto Rican culture the way I should. But sir, this has been an absolute fantastic conversation. I love everything about it. I can't wait for the bad translation book deal to movie rights and TV series that I'm sure it's going to get adapted to. And it's such a wonderful story. I can't wait to finish it. I'm glad we didn't spoil anything. And where can people follow you, social media, or see what you got going on? Let the folks know.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, so you can find me at Siang Lu _author. You can look up Silly Bookstagram as well. You'll find me that way. And that's where I am.
Nice. And then the Page Index, check it out. Pick up a copy of Ghost Cities. It'll be available August 25th. Or if you're at San Diego Comic-Con, I might grab a couple copies. This has been an absolute fantastic conversation. I want to give you the last few seconds just to say goodbye to the audience, and then I will toss it to a break.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and thanks everyone for listening.
Come on, you're a writer. You should be give me something more. No, I'm kidding. All right, guys. More show right after this. Shuts. Hey, everybody, we're back. That was Siang Lu. I want to make sure I pronounce it correctly. Siang Lu. With his upcoming book, Ghost Cities, from, I believe it's Summit Books. Yes, Summit Books. It really is a phenomenal read, man. It is wild. What a great guy, man. Just God, when he's so down to earth, man. So I love it. I love getting to sit here and just talk with people that like, oh man, I want him to win the world. I just want him to just win all of it. Right? Those are the people that deserve it. Hey Wayne, good show. Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yes, convention time, man. All right, folks. We're gonna wind it down here. I'm packed. I've got, oh my God, I've got more emails coming in. Yeah. We've got a busy schedule. Stay tuned to the Pop Culture Warrior social media pages, whether that be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you follow us. We will be giving you up to the minute, let's not lie, probably not up to the hour, let's say, because when I say my schedule is like, I'm going to do a thing, it's like 10, 15 minutes. And then I've got to sprint to the next thing and then do that and then sprint to the next thing. It's going to be like that for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I haven't talked about this yet. We wrap Sunday. I have to take a red-eye flight cross country from San Diego all the way back to the East Coast because I have to be back Monday for something super secret that rivals how awesome San Diego Comic-Con is. But I don't want to spoil that yet. You'll see when I get back. I want to thank Angry Elf for co-hosting with me for the first hour and our incredible guest, Siang Lu, and his book, Ghost Cities. Go check it out. I want to thank you for hanging out with me. My brain's a little scattered. I'm thinking about 600 different things I have to do. I've got a couple more things I have to pack and get ready. A couple more emails I have to send out to confirm certain things. And then I am up at 5:30 tomorrow morning so that I can catch a flight to San Diego, which I believe is Spanish for a whale's vagina. That's that. I got nothing else. Do I got anything else? Do I got anything else? Let me check if I got anything else. Do I have anything else to talk about? We have lots of shows all over the WTF Nation Radio, Monday through Friday, Sunday through Monday, many days, lots of days, all the days, in fact. I'm just, it's been a long week. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. As always, appreciate each and every one of you. Stay tuned because we got some really, really cool stuff coming up. If I can tease anything from tomorrow, what are we looking at besides travel? Like, this is the crazy thing. We land, we run to the hotel, we drop our bags, and then we run to the convention because we've got stuff immediately off the rip. So one of the first things we will be doing is, oh, that's not correct at all. We do have Paramount's The Lodge. I do have an interview with the VP of Thrill Joy, Symbiote Studios, who was really cool with us last year. We're going to talk to them and then round out the preview night, talking to Vincent Arico. Arico, he's one of the bigwigs over at Nickelodeon. I think he's like the VP or CEO. I don't know, something. Some big muckety muck up at Nickelodeon. And then we end tomorrow night at the Ready Party 1 final level after party. So it is going to be a long day. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Tune in next week. We're going to have a lot of cool things to talk about come Tuesday. Like a lot. So buckle up and we'll see you next week. Ice should be back. He was traveling. He should be back this week. Sports bar, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what's happening around. I can barely tell you what's happening in my own neck of the woods. But hang out. See. Tune in. Ask questions. Do things. Push buttons. All right, guys. See you after San Diego Comic-Con. Bye-bye.
Let's see it.